Thank you. My name is Kaitlynn McShea. This is titled Migration, and I am reading a little bit from the middle of it. Lupita crouched to look at it and stopped when her eyelashes almost touched its body. Both its upper and lower wings were torn. Its bright orange wings, threaded with veins of black, reminded her of a leaf. She never noticed it before, but both its body and the edges of its wings were black with white spots, meant to say, stay away, stay away. She wanted to stay away. None of her parenting books had a chapter on saving insects, but Irvin would cry more if she didn't try at all than if it died after she did. She sighed. Its throaty intonation reminded her once again of collecting pecans with her father when she was 5. But instead, she was the adult and she had to do the fixing. It was a little like mending the top layer of skin, and she was more than familiar with fixing bumps, scrapes, and worse as a nurse. She would need adhesive, toothpicks, and Q-tips instead of sutures, baby powder instead of a bandage, and maybe some scissors, tweezers, and a wire hanger to hold the butterfly down, just in case. That's a good question. So whenever I start with a story, I usually have a concept that I want to write it around. So naturally, I started with the fixing the butterfly's wing. That was the premise of the story. And when I thought of the main character, I wanted someone who lived along the path of the butterfly. So in the United States, that's in Texas, in the South. And then when I was thinking of her, I wanted a complex character who has a good relationship with her son. So from there, her characteristics of being independent and flawed but trying her best kind of came out. So I'm also a primary teacher, so I spend a lot of my day with children, and I'm really interested in familial relationships between parents and children. And with Irvin, I wanted someone who was a little, maybe different than other children, who isn't necessarily following the path of most people. And when I thought of him being super concerned about the butterfly, when other children might just let it go, cry, move on, or even step on it, his character came alive. Yeah, so with the father, I kind of had that thought at the beginning: a broken heart cleaves the world in two. And I just think it's really interesting to have characters who have strained relationships with one of their parents, whether it is the father or the mother, or a father or mother figure. And I wanted this character to have a great relationship with her father. So I was interested in seeing if that was the case, how would her relationship be with her now ex-husband? And obviously, if you read the beginning of it, it's not a good relationship, and she leaves and finds success in her new place. I would suggest not rushing into it. So I think if you spend a lot of time doing those character surveys and thinking in those lines of very black and white, what is my character like? What is my character not like? I don't think your character will ever step off the page just because you're not thinking of your character as a person. You're just plugging in traits and dislikes and likes into a character. But if you think about your story and who needs to fit into your story, and you let it percolate and maybe take weeks before even sitting down to write your story, I think your character will just come alive because you've given yourself that space and time to get to know them. Right now, I would say my all-time favorite character is Sunshine in Sunshine by Robin McKinley. That Robin McKinley is a fantasy writer, and she resides in Ireland. And I would say Sunshine just because she's a baker, but then she also has, since it's a fantasy, she has these latent powers that she kind of forgot about growing up. And I think she's just relatable because she says she's a coward because she only fights when she's scared. And but then she also just wants to feed and love people. And she's also a bookworm. So Sunshine for sure. I'll give a shout out to the Heartland Society of Women Writers. I'm the co-founder of it, and we're a literary magazine as well as a community of women.